Wow, it's incredible. I just wanted, my name is Paula Sotier. I'm the owner of most of Baltimore County, all of Baltimore City, and Hartford County. Care Patrol helps seniors find safe living options at no charge to them. We typically help them find memory care and assisted living. We are local and hands-on, and our process is really to understand the clinical needs of the client today and the future, really know more about what they like doing, where they want to live, and their financial capabilities. During 2020, a client said to me, Paula, you're like a matchmaker. And they're right. What we do is we match those clients' needs to the communities that we know. And we vet these communities and we find out exactly someone's dog. I always hear dogs now. Actually, what we do is we find out and we understand each of the communities' clinical capabilities. We know what amenities they have. We know what activities they have. We know their pricing, their staffing. And then we go the extra mile by learning any quality issues by reviewing the state surveys. Since Care Patrol places so many clients, we have real life experience of how communities are doing today. And I think that's really important, particularly with some of the staffing issues that I know people are having across many different companies. I'm very lucky to be part of the Care Patrol team of 7 franchises that covers all of Maryland, DC, and part of Virginia. We've placed over 3,000 clients in over 100 communities. I'm also really excited to hear from Pam Reynolds. You know, Care Patrol gets questions all the time, every week on advanced directives, and I look forward to learning more about advanced directives so we can help our clients more in the future.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paula. And just refresh our memory again, your territory is?
Most of Baltimore County, Baltimore City, and Hartford County.
Great. Okay, so this is always my favorite part. We're going to go around the Brady Bunch squares here. And I'm going to start off with Cindy Evans, who's out in the community working with clients. Hey, Cindy.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Cindy R. Evans, and my territory is the other part of Baltimore County and Anne Arundel County.
Great. And then below Cindy, I've got Charles.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm Charles Picard. I am the Care Patrol representative in Prince George's County, and along with Bonnie Danker, I work the District of Columbia, and I also manage Charles County as well.
Great. And then below Charles, I've got Rhonda Thomas.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rhonda Thomas. I'm the Senior Living Consulting, serving Howard and Montgomery County, as well as the District of Columbia.
Great. And next to Rhonda, we've got Star.
Hi, I'm Star Sowers. I work with Bonnie Danker, and I do Howard and Montgomery County, also serving the District of Columbia. Good to see all of you today.
Great. And then next to Star, I've got Billy Baker Norris. Can you hear us?
Hi, can you hear me? I'm sorry, I'm having technical difficulties today.
Okay, just let us know your territory, and we'll go to Robin next.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So I'm Billy Baker Norris, and I'm with Care Patrol of Central Maryland and Loudoun, Virginia. My team is Bonnie Elliott and Jen Pankert. So thank you for having us today.
Great. And then above Billy, we got Robin Edwards.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. I'm Robin Edwards. I covered Northern Virginia. That's Fairfax, Arlington, Alexandria, part of Prince William County, and a little part of Loudoun.
Excellent. And then Amy, you're the lucky center square this month. So you want to finish things off and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I'm Amy Fager, and my husband Gary and I are the owners of Care Patrol of Delaware and the Maryland Eastern Shore. In Delaware, we service Sussex and Kent County.
Excellent. Okay, well, now we've got another important person that we want to bring on before we head to our program. And again, I cut and pasted all the contact information from all the Care Patrol people into chat for everybody. But we really want to give a big thank you to Sell Your DMV House and Jimmy. And if I could get Jimmy to come on board, we can learn a little bit about your organization and how you can help the audience today.
Yes. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you guys. Yeah, my name is Jimmy Laufenmacken, and I am a senior transition specialist here at Sell Your DMV House. Our company is based out of Gambrills, Maryland, and we buy houses throughout the Washington, D.C. and the Baltimore metro area. We know that many seniors choose their forever homes as the place they plan to live for the rest of their lives. But unfortunately, due to things like illnesses, injury, and old age, living independently as a senior isn't always possible. And because of this, many families make the difficult decision to move mom or dad into a senior housing community. Well, our company strives to make that process of moving and selling a home as seamless and as timely as possible so that the families can get to the care that they need for their loved one. We help families by buying mom or dad's house in its current condition without the family having to spend all the time and effort to clean out the property and do all the updating that needs to go into a typical house sale in today's market. Once we establish a move date, our company can take care of everything else from cleaning out the house, packing, and as well as paying all the costs that are associated with the sale of the property. One thing I'd like to point out, because a lot of people ask, is whether or not we're realtors. We are not realtors. You see, realtors don't actually buy the house. They only tell the family to get the house ready for the market to see who is willing to buy it. We are already willing to buy it, and there aren't any commissions or fees to pay when we do. We can buy a house in as little as 3 weeks to whatever timeline works for the family. So if you or your loved one is looking to transition into a senior living community, or perhaps you're a senior housing community, or perhaps a placement agent that is working with a family that needs to sell a house before they can move, please give me a call. I'd be happy to make an offer on that property. My contact information is available. It's on a slide. So you can reach me by cell phone or by email. I've also partnered with the Paying for Long-Term Institute to co-author a book called Paying for Long-Term Care, which is a guide to understanding funding for senior care. And if anyone is interested in getting a free copy of that book, I'd be happy to send that. It could be a good resource for the families that you work with. All right, thank you so much.
This is great, Jimmy. And then if you can hang out till the end, one of our favorite things is we're going to spin the wheel of names, and I understand you've got a gift card that you're going to give away. So we'll see you at the conclusion of our program today. And thanks for supporting the discussion.
Thank you.
Okay. And with that, we are ready to kick off our discussion on advanced care planning with Pam Reynolds. Pam, I'm really excited that the Care Patrol team was able to get you. I know you're super busy, and but the advanced care planning is such a important topic, and we know not everybody is putting their affairs in order in advance. But before we dive into this topic, I know you've got some slides, and I want to remind the audience that they can ask you as many questions as they like. Let's get to know you a little bit better. Tell us a little bit about your background and what led to you, what you're doing now in your career in helping individuals and families.
Yeah, sure, Steve. As you know, I've been in this industry for quite some time, going on 20 years or so. And my prior background, my background is social work by degree. And then I got into the senior healthcare industry right after I graduated from college. So I did almost 10 years in senior living, nursing homes, and assisted living. I'm a licensed assisted living administrator. And then I also, after I got out of the senior living side, I went into the home care side. So I owned and operated a home healthcare company that I know many of you are are familiar with, Allegiance Home Care, which is now part of Capital City Nurses. And I did that for 8 years and sold that company in 2019. And when I sold the company, I kind of didn't know what I was going to do when I grew up after that, but I knew I wanted to help people avoid the crisis and the pitfalls and, try to help people create plans to avoid a lot of the tragedies that I had seen over the course of my career in senior healthcare. And I'll share a little bit more about that during the presentation, but that's what ultimately led me to get into the estate planning and elder law industry so that I could be a part of that solution and helping people create plans that'll give them peace of mind as they age.
Wow. Well, what a great career path that you've taken, and the culmination of being familiar with assisted living and home care, and now, being in the elder law and estate planning world. I know that you're a real asset to the customers that you're the clients that you serve. So what I'm going to do is duck behind the curtain here, and we'll sort of turn the reins over to you, and sure. You can share your screen and share your information and resources in advanced care planning. I just want to remind the audience that they can type in their questions at any point in time. And then Pam, if you want to take a few breaks, I'll let you know if we've received any questions related to any of the topics that you've talked about.
Got it. Sure. Okay. Can everyone see this now, the slides?
Yep, that looks good.
Okay, great. Well, we'll get started here. Again, as I mentioned, I'm with the law office of Joshua E. Hummer. We're an estate planning and elder law firm with offices in Ashburn and Winchester, Virginia. And by background, as I mentioned, I'm a social worker, a certified aging life care manager, and professional gerontologist. And what I'm most passionate about is helping people put together plans to age well. And so the first question is, why plan at all? And I really believe proactive planning is the key to aging well. It's a well thought out plan can really give you the confidence and peace of mind to face the future. And as I mentioned, in my background in the senior healthcare industry, it was always a crisis. 9 out of 10 calls was a crisis. And I've just seen a myriad of heartbreaking negative outcomes for older people. The phone calls would range from mom fell and she's in the hospital, or we can't take her home. Dad's Alzheimer's is getting worse. He can't live alone anymore. I know my friends over here at Care Patrol know exactly what I'm talking about. So for people who didn't plan well and didn't set themselves up in a way that protects them and helps their families take care of them, they end up in places that they don't want to be and having very little in terms of choices for their end of life care. And I like to say to people, money does give you choices. The more money you have, the more choices you have, but also the better you plan, the more choices you have. And that's the part that I think often gets overlooked. So that's what ultimately, again, led me here. I got kind of tired of being the firefighter, and I want to help people get upstream and avoid the crisis. So when you guys think of, I hate this one. It doesn't, I like it to just show everything. I'm going to click all those. When you guys think of estate planning, how many of you think of death? And I can't see the hand, so I'm just throwing that out there. But I think most people do. They think of estate planning, they think of passing on their assets when they die. And that's because, well, it is. Primary function of estate planning is passing on your assets when you die in the way that you choose. And it puts you in the driver's seat to ensure that your wishes are followed, and it's done so in a way that doesn't create a mess for your loved ones. And the primary tools of estate planning and planning for death are wills and trusts. And there's plenty that we could talk about in relation to those, but that's not what we're focusing on today. But what I want to point out is that good estate planning isn't just about accumulating as much money as you can to pass on to your beneficiaries when you die. That's great, and most people desire to do that. But in addition to that, it's also about avoiding a bad aging experience and avoiding a poor quality of life at the end of your life, and avoiding family conflict over the decisions that need to be made. And it's about protecting yourself and your assets while you're still alive, and not just about after death. So while we're planning for death with estate planning, we're also planning for what we call incapacity. And this is this is the part that, I mean, we're planning for aging, we're planning for end of life and everything that comes along with it. And this is the part that I often see glossed over and underestimated. So I'm going to focus more on this part of the planning today because, well, that's what Robin and my friends at Care Patrol asked me to do, but also because I'm extremely passionate about this part of the planning. So at our firm, we believe that the key to all of this is relationships. And so we start from a place of who and what is important to you. And we start with your goals. And there are certainly financial elements to this. There's large financial elements to this, but it isn't all about money. And so this is what we call relational estate planning. It starts from a different place and a different conversation. And so I want to share with you to start what we see as being the goals of relational estate planning. And as you can see, none of them are purely financially motivated, but they include protecting your loved ones. And simply by doing a plan, you're protecting your loved ones. But there's also a lot of other motivations behind this goal, depending on the person. So sometimes we're protecting them from others or even from themselves. Giving money to someone who isn't going to spend it wisely isn't really a gift. It's enabling, and that's not a good thing either. So looking at how your estate plan can protect and provide for your loved ones is crucial. And avoiding conflict. I'm sure some of you here have probably experienced a family fighting over a person's money after they're gone, and that's terrible. But even worse, while they're still alive, it happens. And we have seen that, and it's one of the most unpleasant things you'll ever have to witness. But we want to set up an estate plan that's going to avoid that type of conflict and driving wedges between the people that are important in your life. Next is leaving a financial legacy. And this part is more focused on the assets, but it's not just about passing on assets to your family. It also could include charitable gifting and other aspects as well. So again, we focus in on who and what is important to you and figure out a way to do that that you can really feel good about it. Preserving special memories. Has anyone ever, again, I can't see hands, but I throw it out there. Has anyone ever received something as an inheritance from a loved one and not really had any idea what it was or why you received it? This does happen. And so that's a topic for another time, but it is one thing that we do encourage our clients is explaining why you're gifting something to someone and what it meant to you so that it will mean something to them as well. And then finally, easing burdens for your loved ones. And this one, when I say people underestimate the ramifications of not planning properly when it comes to incapacity, the burdens on your loved ones and that aspect can be truly tremendous. And what I find really interesting is that in the almost 20 years I spent in the senior healthcare world, when I would ask people who are aging what their goals were, almost every time at the top of the list or close to it was not being a burden on their loved ones. But yet they've done nothing to plan and nothing to prevent it. I always saw that as, I'm not quite sure exactly why that is, but I do want to talk about why we are doing it, what we are worried about happening. Primarily, or first and foremost, we're worried about putting your family in a situation that they cannot effectively take care of you. And this is really a tremendous burden, being thrown into caregiving with no idea what to expect and nothing in place to give you the legal authority or the practical tools that you need to do it is a complete nightmare. And by that time, it's also usually too little too late, even if you have the best of intentions. And we're also protecting from others, right? So scams, abuse, financial exploitation, misappropriation of funds, identity theft, all of this, again, is an entire other presentation, but we are trying to prevent these things by putting good, solid plans in place and giving people that you do trust the authority to step in and help you. And then even protection from yourself. If your cognition begins to deteriorate, and if you have protections in place, then you can do less damage to yourself when you start to make poor decisions and take foolish actions as a result. And in order to accomplish any of this, any of these goals that are important to you, you need a plan that incorporates both the legal as well as the practical aspects. And today I'll talk a little bit about both. So again, I want all the bullet points up here, so I'll click these through. The tools that we're talking about from a legal aspect when we are talking about planning for incapacity I'm sure most of you have probably heard of the power of attorney and the advanced medical directive. I'm going to start the discussion with those. But in addition, we also have the estate guide and inventory, which is a non-legal document, but one of the practical tools that we recommend you set up to help set up your agents for success. And it's related to both incapacity planning and death. And then also I will touch on funeral directives. And although those are technically a part of the plan for death, they're also interwoven here. And I think worth mentioning. So we'll talk about those as well. And what we're doing with these documents is giving the person the ability to choose who is in charge and choose what happens. And again, I think I said this before, but it puts the individual doing the documents in the driver's seat. So the default doesn't just kick in. So in doing so, you can avoid your family going through the hassle of guardianship, conservatorship, if and when the time comes that you are incapacitated and you need help. And I'm not going to get too far into that today, but guardianship and conservatorship are technically they're lawsuits that remove someone's personal rights. And they're extreme, they're difficult and costly, and that should always be a last resort. So, Steve, I'm going to take a pause here and see if there's any questions so far. Are you checking the chat box? We good? Okay. All right. So first, I'm going to talk about the financial power of attorney. What we're doing with the financial power of attorney is giving someone that you trust the ability to make financial decisions and manage your finances for you if and when you're unable to do so. And this makes some people understandably nervous, but keep in mind, you're not writing a blank check. There's many ways that you can limit the risk and remain in control. And first is by choosing the right agent. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in detail later as to how to do this. But to suffice to say for now that choosing someone you trust is of utmost importance. And you can also choose the level of trigger that you want. And what a trigger means is basically what has to happen in order for the power of attorney to become valid and be able to be used. And so you can decide what level you want that to be. You can give them the authority at any time, which makes it easier to use, or you can put different layers of protection in place by having a physician have to actually assess you and give an evaluation of your capacity and say that you don't have the capacity to make decisions for yourself. And you can say one physician or two physicians or however many physicians you want, or you can even specify a neurological evaluation or whatever you would like there is fine. It's very customizable, but that is one way that you can put some layers and protection in place for yourself when you're drafting these documents. And you can also choose the scope. So if there's things that